In this session, we've got Neil Whitman, who is animator extraordinaire and absolutely crackers, so totally on my wavelength. He creates animations for record companies and recently made me feel very old, thank you very much, with the anniversary animation for Moulin Rouge. 20 years.
Yeah.
One of my faves. That made me feel ancient. Thank you for that one. But he has a really interesting range of experience for big corporate companies and well-established record companies, and has recently made the decision to launch himself into full-time self-employment. So let's hear his story. Hi, Neil. How are you doing?
Hi. I'm all right, thanks. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Oh, it's great. Great to have you here. So we met last year, about this time last year, actually, wasn't it? For the...
It probably was, yeah.
Yeah, the Cookie Collective that Steve Holland ran in Being Freelance. So,
yeah,
and he's just about to do that again. Yeah, well, the non-mastermind mastermind,
but not
wasn't
a mastermind. Exactly. Yes. But yeah, that's how we met, wasn't it? Yeah. But that was really good fun. Actually, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, and it's been lovely that we've all stayed in touch since and had catch-ups and things like that as well. So yeah, check it out, people, actually, because he is about to run another one. There's a little ad for Steve Holland in there. But yeah, tell us a bit about your company and what you do then, please.
Oh, well, yeah. So I'm a freelance animator, which means these days I predominantly make videos for the music industry, which can be anything from music videos, lyric videos, or also social media promos, things like that. So if a new album's coming out or an anniversary of an album's coming out, then I often get involved in those. And my business is called Neil Whitman Animations, which technically has been running for 10 years this year. But it's taken me a very, very long time to actually get to this point where I'm finally went full-time freelance at the start of this year. So yeah.
So how do you find there's a big difference actually between having run it on the side? And because I was very similar, I ran mine for 10 years before I left, and I found a huge difference with doing it on the side to now being full-time, fully immersed in it.
I think it's really, I've been quite fortunate. I mean, in one way I want to kick myself for taking so long to get this far, but in another, I've really had a long time to home it and work out what I wanted to do and if it was viable. And so I was, as well as doing my day job, I was able to kind of build up slowly, like, clients and the type of work that I wanted to do. So I mean, there's no point regretting it. I think it's worked out quite well, and I'm very fortunate. I know other people who maybe have left a job and then they're not quite sure, they want to work for themselves, but they haven't got things up and running. It's already there for me. It was already ready to go. So I was able to just jump in the front seat and go for it, basically. Yeah. So, but it's much better. Yeah.
Yeah, it was something, I must admit, like I never thought I could make a living off it when I was doing it on the side. I just, because people said to me, why don't you work for yourself? And I was very kind of, I only earn little bits of money, just pocket money. So I never saw how I would make it work, but you've really kind of jumped in. And
well, that's exactly how it started for me. It's just a bit of a hobby, a bit of fun on the side. A friend was making a little documentary about a band, and they needed some animated content. So I said, yes, I'll do that. And then that led to another music video from a record company. And then once you start talking to the right people, you know, more and more work comes your way. And then you do start going, oh, actually, I could actually maybe make a living out of this. So yeah, so it was quite nice that, as I say, I've been able to slowly think about it. I was able to go from full-time in my day job to then doing my day job part-time, so I could devote a couple of days a week to it. And I say now, yeah, I couldn't be slower at leaving a job, really. You know, there was like one foot out the door and then a bit of, you know, arm out the door. And so by the time I left, I think everyone just thought that's inevitable. He was going to go eventually. You know, I never made a secret of it. You know, I was what I was doing on the side. So yeah, but no, I think it helped. I think it helped to to take my time and think about how I was going to make it work, hopefully, and it is working. That's good. So, you know.
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah.
9 months into full time and I'm still here, so that must be something.
I love they must have been like, is it not gone yet? Oh my God.
No. Well, I recently went back to my old job for a couple of weeks, and I think some people thought I was still working from home. And I just popped back to do a bit of freelance. And so I wouldn't recommend taking 10 years though. I definitely wouldn't. And if I could do it again, I'd certainly have done it a bit quicker. But you know, it's that fear of moving, you know, from a secure, well-paid job into, you know, just hoping that the work comes in, really. Yeah.
So what is it that finally made you decide to do that? Was that always your plan in these 10 years, or did you decide later on?
I'd love to say I had it all mapped out and I knew exactly what I was going to do, but I didn't really. I just kept doing the day job and doing more and more work on the side. It was probably the fact that I wasn't getting any free time socially at all in the end, you know, working on my own business at weekends and every evening, and maybe getting up early every morning. And it was just like, well, something's got to give here. And I was at a very fortunate time where they were about to give out some voluntary redundancy. And so it just made sense to take the money and run, basically. And so that's what I did. And
well, that's a great way of doing it, because you've been able to go back in freelance. You've obviously still got that good relationship.
Exactly. Yeah, I've just popped back, just and done it a little bit, but it's not, you know, it's not something I want to do all the time. But it's nice to just know that it's always good to leave on good terms with any employer. You know, I'm not someone for burning bridges. You know, so I think it's good to just always be approachable, and if you can go back and do something again, then fine, do that. But I think it just felt like the right time, basically, for me to move on, and also not getting any younger, you know. So if I didn't do it soon, I'll be retiring, you know, in another 20 years. So it's like, well, maybe I really should put everything into this and see where it will go. And I'm really glad that I have. I'm absolutely loving doing what I'm doing now.
And I think that comes across, to be honest, in like all the calls we have with you and stuff. You're really enjoying yourself. I'm the same.
I think you're probably the same as me. Also, when we've done like the masterminds, you've you work on your own all day long. So when you finally get a video call, you just blah 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 at each other, and it's really nice because you're all in the same boat, so you understand late paying clients, or you understand, you know, people wanting everything tomorrow or yesterday, and so it was a really good fun project to do the Cookie Collective, because we could actually talk about, we all shared the same thoughts, you know, that not everyone, your friends who have day jobs maybe might not understand, really. So
and we were all creatives, actually, which was nice as well, but in different industries, weren't we? So we had a photographer, graphic designer, me in the e-learning, you in the animation. It was a really nice mix of skills, but in the same industry. So,
I'm hoping there'll be one day that there's one big project that we can all come in on.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
All of those things, that would be really good, wouldn't it?
But, let's clock that one for
write that down. But I think it is important, though. It's really good to expand. It's great, you know, to be in certain groups and know lots of animators, but it's nice to meet people from other fields, because at the end of the day, then you can recommend them to people you know. And
and I think you learn different skills off each other as well, don't you? I mean, I work over quite a broad range of skills anyway, and I love bringing the skills from the writing into the e-learning and the design into the e-learning, and then I've created animations in the past, but nothing like what you do. But you know, there's all these different skills that you see, and we all have different experiences. So like you say, if you've got in my case, a client that's just beggared off and not paid, or
Yeah.
you have too much on and you're overwhelmed, or you're struggling to
Yes.
schedule. There's always someone there, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah, I often get approached with like graphic design work as well, because I do motion graphics, and people muddy them and sometimes think that's the same job. But now I know a few graphic designers. I can say, well, I can't do it, but I think it's really good to then say, but so and so can do it. Or web design. The amount of people that think I'm a web designer. I would love to just design a really, really bad web page and then send them the link and go, that's the best I can do. And then I think they'll think I'm not a web designer, but I now know through various groups, you know, really good web designers. So you can send them off, but then maybe they'll think, well, he was helpful, and actually I need a welcome animation video. So they'll come back to you because they know you're helpful. There's no point saying yes to something that you can't do.
No, and I know some people do and then just work it out, but I'm not. No, that's just more stress than I think you need in life. And
I think I would have done that probably 10 years ago. I probably would have gone, yeah, I can do web design and try and blag it, but no, stick at what you're.
People only need to look at my WordPress site that I keep breaking, and they will quickly realise that I'm not a web designer.
I was on WordPress for years, and I never did understand it. So I've gone for Skillshare now, which is what's it?
Squarespace.
Squarespace, and I just find, that does all I need it to do. But I don't ever claim to be a graphic designer. I don't claim to be a web designer. But I think if you're outside of what I do, people just assume you do all of these things. You know? And I dabble, but you don't. I wouldn't ever take on a big client for something like that.
Rebranding a huge company or something.
Yeah, exactly. It was hard enough trying to do my own branding, and I needed help with that, which I got. So I think stick at what you're good at is my motto.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And so I mean, something you've mentioned a couple of times there is word of mouth. Is that how you get a lot of your work in then?
I think in the early days, certainly was. It was a matter of either getting people that you kind of knew in the industry. Fortunately, I was already working in television, so they kind of saw me as the animator that could maybe do things for that. But then once you've done a few projects, I've been very fortunate to get a lot of repeat work, which hopefully means you're doing something right, or it means I'm cheap. I don't know, one or the other. But so I think early days, it's important. But I think once you've got a nice client base, if I'm getting quiet for work, I'll probably send an email out to someone I haven't spoken to for 6 months ago, just to remind you I'm here. You've really, and you say word about, and that's why social media is so important. I try and put up what I'm working on all the time, without hopefully going on too much. It's a fine line, isn't it? We go, I've done this and I've done this, but you want to say, look, I'm still here and I'm still working if you're looking for an animator, but try and put a few fun things up in between, or helpful things as well about the animation industry. So I try it. It's a fine line, but I'm working on that one all the time. But if you haven't spoken to someone for 6 months, then maybe just drop them an email, say, just to remind you, or say, this is the latest thing I've just worked on, you might be interested in this, so,
No, I like that, because I mean, the one thing that put me off becoming self-employed was the whole idea of going out pitching for work and the sales, and that was just so icky to me, and I still can't do it. But I've been lucky that I've not had to yet, because I started off with recruitment companies, won a lot of work, and those companies now come in back through the recruitment companies to me, or directly if there's been enough time in our contracts lapse, kind of thing, and referring me on to other people. And I think, certainly for those that are just starting out, that are terrified of this whole sales thing, there is another way of doing it, isn't there? Of getting yourself visible. And it's amazing how many people have come to me through LinkedIn who've been watching me for ages, not commented on anything, not liked anything, and then said, oh, I love all these posts you're putting out. Do you want to work with us?
It's interesting, and I'm guilty of that too. I could enjoy someone's post every day and sometimes forget to like it or comment, and so I can imagine from the other point of view, they're probably thinking, oh, no one's even looking at this content. But then you suddenly meet someone in real life and they go, oh yeah, you put this and this up, and he's like, no, I do. So I think it's really important. I'm very fortunate. I don't have to go out and pitch very often. Sometimes I'm on certain websites where they will ask you to pitch for an idea, and then it's about putting together a PDF of, this is how it could look, this is what we could do. But most of the time I'm lucky I get a lot of repeat business, and that's that's like gold dust, isn't it, really? So you just get the email and someone present you with some more work. It's like, oh great, I haven't had chasing that. So
and it always seems well timed. It just appears as you're finishing something else off, and like, oh yeah, I can do this.
Yeah. The only strange thing for me is because a lot of the work I do these days is with people in America, companies in America, record companies, and so it will generally be just as I'm going to bed, or it'll be in the middle of the night. So it's quite nice to wake up to suddenly, oh, I've got some more work come through and stuff. So you never know what's around the corner, but it's daunting to think, oh no, what if no more work comes in? That was like, obviously the biggest fear, but it's having enough, hopefully, regular clients to take that fear away. That's what I'm hoping. Yeah,
I love the mindset that someone mentioned. So Giles, who features in the book, he said he tries to think of it as when it goes quiet, that your next customer is never more than 2 weeks away. And I love that thought of just chill out for 2 weeks, just keep going, keep getting yourself back out there, and like you say, remind customers you exist, and something will come in a couple of weeks. And that's really helped me recently, actually.
I think that's true. I think when I eventually went full time at the start of this year, I had a cracking first month. I was like, oh, this is great, this is gonna be brilliant. And then suddenly you hit like, I don't know, February, whenever it was, and I just had 2 quiet weeks. I was like, oh no, what have I done? I've ruined it. I'm gonna have to go and get a job or something. And then of course the work starts coming in again. The worst thing you can do in those times though is say yes to some cheap work, or something. The amount of times you've got, oh well, I need to be doing something, which isn't true really, and so you think, oh, I'll take on something cheaper, and then of course 5 minutes later something really good comes around and you're booked up. So that is one lesson I have had to learn.
That's very true, actually. And also use that time instead to work on your business rather than in it. Get some blog posts together or whatever you need to do for your own visibility. I think
you've just got to understand, it's not like a Monday to Friday job. It's not linear. You're not going to get work every single week, every day of the week as well. So that's taken some adjustment to, and explaining to friends and family, oh, I haven't actually got any work on today. Oh right, oh, so has it all gone wrong? No, it hasn't all gone wrong. And then big projects will come in the next day, so
what you could do in those moments, write a book.
Just write a book. Well, I can't believe so you were talking about this
gaps.
You were talking about this last year. I can't believe you've actually found the time in your incredibly busy schedule to write a book. So that's amazing. So I'll probably more likely do a pop-up book or something. I'm not, I don't think
there's something we could do together as the cookie mastermind.
Right. Yes.
Right.
Oh yeah.
On it.
Yeah, that's true.
On
actually.
it. Designer, photographer, animator. Yeah. There we go. On it. After this call, we're on it.
I think I'll be better with pictures than words, really. So that's my.
I'll do the words.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
There's only 3 or 4 a page, so don't worry if it's a children.
Well, exactly.
Sometimes
you don't even need any.
Yeah. So that's good.
So my next question, which was, is there anything in particular that has helped you make that transition from working for other people to now being fully you on your own? Is there anything that's helped you kind of get there?
I mean, I guess we kind of touched on it, but like the online freelance community has been amazing, and groups like Steve's Being Freelance group is where you'll find me most of the time. Freelance Heroes as well, and lots of other ones as well, specific ones for motion design that I look on, and things like that. They've all really kind of kept me going on a quiet day, or if you're not quite sure what you're doing, they're a great place to drop a question if you're not sure what you're doing. And so that has been that's been a lifeline, especially over the last year when you can't even go out and human beings in the pub or something, which is generally one of my favorite things. That's been a really big help. But also, I mean, last year was a blessing and a curse, mainly a curse, don't get me wrong, but all the kind of freelance meetups that happened around the country all went online last year. So that was, in a way, at least I could attend all of them, and I did my best to do that. It's not the same. Again, you can't go to the bar afterwards, and embarrass yourself or anything, but at least you can, you still felt part of something. So online is undoubtedly, I live in quite a small town here. There are no other animators as far as the eye can see, so I can't go and chat with others. I tried to start a group called Animates which I thought was a great
Oh,
name.
yeah.
Animate, you know. And I think got about one person interested who then cancelled at last
Oh,
minute. So yeah, so I know they say start your own community if you haven't got one, but it depends where you live really. But I'm only an hour from
yeah.
London, so maybe when the world's back to normal, I can start actually attending things in real life again. But yeah,
Yeah.
they are a big help though. Yeah, definitely. And of course, as we say, the mastermind group that we're part of. So yeah, it's just finding other like-minded people to you know, share your highs and your lows really. So
Oh
it's,
yes, definitely.
I know
Yeah, because
Steve's
that.
always said
Go on,
about
sorry.
if you've just completed a big project, who do you celebrate with? You know, it's
Yeah.
a Wednesday morning or something. So it's nice to share these things. Yeah.
Yeah, and there are so many groups out there, and there's some on Slack and Discord, and I mean,
Yes.
I'm in so many that it's actually really hard to keep up with them all. So I'm having to try and rein myself into just, focus on
Yeah.
like maybe three.
Yeah.
Um, but as well, it's what you put in as well, isn't it? So if you're in there
Yeah.
engaging on other people's posts when they ask a question
Yeah.
or have a crisis or want to celebrate, you get that back when it's your turn.
And I think it's only then that you actually realise when you start answering newbies' questions, you go, oh, actually, I do know what I'm talking about. Like someone wants to
Yeah,
know, you know, how do I take payment from a customer abroad or something like that? And like,
yeah,
oh, actually, I know this one or
yeah.
whatever it is. So,
Or
yeah.
I might need to know this. I'm going to look at
Or,
this and I'm
well,
going to.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if everyone does this, but I use the search feature in like these Facebook pages all the time because I don't want to be the guy that said, does anyone know a good accountant or something when there's 100 pages of other people already answering that question. So I'll often go back on stuff and often find I've already asked the question. I'll say, oh, it's me 2 years ago. Oh, I didn't even know that then. So I think these are invaluable anyway. You know, online community are a really good way. You know, they'll never replace actually going out with someone, but it's a really good place each day to check in and yeah, to help others. If you just keep turning up and being helpful, you know, that keeps people remembering who you are as well, which is always quite nice. And maybe in 5 years time they'll go, well, actually I need an animator, and they might give me a call or something, you know. But not that that's why I do it, but you know,
No, but it's part of it. Yeah,
it's nice to
absolutely. I
work
mean,
with like-minded people. Yeah.
one of my biggest customers this last couple of years for a division of the NHS has come from someone else being contacted about some work and him saying, it's not really quite what I do. How about you speak to Helen? And that's been 2 years of work. And that's all because me and him met on a training course, sat next to each other, two grumps at the back saying, oh, not good at socializing. And, and, we had a chat. He's looked at my work and then gone, oh, she knows about this stuff. And that's been three huge projects that I've done for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great to meet face to face, but I must say, like, particularly not being London based.
Yeah.
It's great for those of us up north when so many events are southern to be able to now log in.
Yeah. I think that's been a bonus. I was never very comfortable at what they call networking events. I'm really awkward at these things. Yeah. And generally locally, there's a lot of people that don't really need my services. I say most of my clients are remote. I've never met 99% of my clients.
No, I've not.
Half of them I've never even had a video call with, you know, so we're just so reliant on emails and things. Yeah. So yeah, it's funny how little you actually talk to someone in
that's interesting.
Yeah,
because I'm on calls all day, every day with them all. So,
right. Yeah. Well, again, maybe because of the time difference, it's always easier for me with America. But there are people I work with week in, week out that I've never actually met, like even seen. So you have a picture in your head of what they look like. But that's important anyway.
Yeah. I suppose that's been quite a change in my business in the last 18 months. I already worked for one company in Finland. So I was already jetting off to Helsinki. That was nice.
Yes, I keep making cool that I can go to LA, but I haven't been invited.
I do think the pandemic has actually helped people realise they don't have to hire someone in their country either. So since the pandemic started, I've worked for people in Spain, in Canada. I've had calls with someone in LA about some potential work, and I think people have suddenly gone, oh yeah, I don't have to hire people in London. Or
no, I mean, I found it confusing because I was already getting a lot of work before the pandemic from America, and I was so grateful of it. I think I applied for a little ad, and that led to something else, and led to another video, a music video, but I was always slightly confused that there are 1,000 probably animators in LA, and why little old me if they come to you? But obviously, once you can prove you can do the work, then why wouldn't they want to come to you if you deliver? Hit your deadlines, which for me is the most important thing, and always deliver, and always keep them informed. And I guess you build up a good partnership. But it is strange to think that you're sitting in one country and you're providing work for another country. But it seems to work for me though, so that's good.
Well,
good.
yeah, I love it. I love that. And it's like you were saying about having an email in your inbox when you wake up and stuff. I find that quite often with Finland, that because they were an hour ahead, they were at work before I was functioning, and sending stuff through, and it felt quite organized. It was nice.
And also, if you're working for people in America, then I can get up and not think, oh my god, they're sitting there waiting for me to send the work through, because they don't wake up till 5 p.m. my time. So that works quite nicely. So sometimes I can be asked to do something, spend the day doing it, and hand it over before they've even sat down at their desk. So it's a good relationship. It works quite well for all of us, actually. So
yeah. So do you find though that you have to quite often have calls in the evening and things with them being behind, or do you manage to establish that boundary and say no?
Rarely, really rarely do I do that, unless it's really important. I try and keep to kind of 9 to 6 hours during the week. I try and give myself weekends off, which I was never doing up until this year, but now I've actually able to do that. Right. And of course, every now and then I'm going to stray into an evening or a weekend, but it's my quality of life so much better now that I've gone full-time freelance than it was. But occasionally, maybe, but you just go, well, that's fine. I'll let myself have a lay in tomorrow, if I do have to start. There was an occasion recently, and they wanted some really last minute changes, and it was an album launch, and it was Thursday night, and it was going to go out the Friday, and it was one typical one night I'd gone out for the evening, so and so I'm seeing all these emails come through on my phone. I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm not. But as soon as I got home, I stayed up and I did it, and they were really grateful that I'd stayed up and done the work, and we got there. So, but that's rare. Most of the time, I can stick to my own hours, which is important, So, because it's hard to know when to switch off otherwise, So that's why I try and stick to. But only now. It's taken me years to realise that.
Yeah. Well, that's really true what you say about the quality of life. I mean, I particularly have found that it's absolutely changed my life working for myself. It's that it's partly the flexibility for the things you need in life. Like some people need it for the families, I needed it for my health, and I think that's a huge change that I don't think people realise how powerful that is, actually, to have that quality of life back.
Now that I'm like in my 40s, you start thinking, I'll start taking care of myself, because it's not like I have sick pay anymore, or all these things to fall back on that I did have, so there are pros and cons to having a full-time employment. So I have to, look after myself, know that I can carry on working for another however many years I want to. So and I think hopefully I'm doing more of that now.
I mean, I gosh, when I was working for others in my last role, I had so much time off sick with various health issues and anxiety and pain. And funnily enough, since I've gone self-employed, I've had 3 days off sick, and they were just in the first year when I was working in an open plan office as a contractor. And there were so many germs with different contractors every day of the week that I was, they started calling me Typhoid Mary. I was that ill all the time because I have a rubbish immune system. But since working from home, I've not had a single day off sick. And that's incredible for me.
No, I think it's a different mindset. And it's not that guilt as well. If I ever took a sick day, I'd feel terrible about it. But now maybe I'll take a morning off if I'm not feeling well, and then I'll crack on when I feel better, kind of thing. So it's a different mentality. But that was scary, knowing that once I took the leap, that I wouldn't have annual leave, I wouldn't have sick pay, I wouldn't have pensions and things like that. But obviously you can take out independent things, and that's a good thing that I've been learning off some of the forums and the Facebook groups, that you can take out your own pension. Of course you can. You can take out your own health cover. These things you don't really have to think about until now. So it's just been a bit more proactive. You used to just rely on HR to do these things for you,
Yes.
You are HR now, and tech support and everything, So.
Yeah, and that's something I'm rubbish with, understanding all the money side of things. So the non-negotiable for me on starting out was I had to have an accountant, and I've got like a financial advisor. I always think that sounds really like, pretentious. But he's advising me on my pension and all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
that's really important. No, I've always had an accountant from day one. It's the one kind of, well, not employee of course, but it's the one kind of member of staff, member of the team that I have. Apart from that, it's just me doing absolutely everything else. But it's vital because I hate not understanding all the red tape that HMRC throw at you, and self-assessments. So I just need someone that's good at that to do that for me, because it changes every year. I don't understand it. I'm a creative. I don't understand numbers. And
I don't want to. It's dull.
No, I don't really want to. And accountants love this stuff. So leave it to your accountant, and get on with your work. Really, that's how it should.
Oh, the questions I email my accountant, she must just think, what on earth? Or like, oh, I've accidentally put this on my business account and it wasn't meant for that.
Yeah. Oh, and that's so important, isn't it? Have a separate bank account for your business and a separate account for you, which again we all learn eventually.
And try not to get, as I've discovered, at the same time a new personal bank account with the same colour bank card, so they're both black, and I keep using the wrong one.
No, I'd be the same. I react to colours more than words. So get something completely different. But that is you get yourself, if you haven't got an accountant, get an accountant. That is the one thing that makes your life so much easier.
You'd spend hours googling otherwise, wouldn't you, and still never get the answer. So
I could watch a 3-hour seminar about IRS or something on YouTube, and I'd still walk away and I wouldn't understand a thing that they've said. I really tried as well. I'm not someone that just goes, well, I don't understand it. I really try to understand all these things, but my brain just wasn't built for these things. So I'm always so jealous if I meet someone whose wife or family member or something is an accountant and they just do it for them. I'm just like, oh no, you're so lucky. You don't.
Although I wouldn't want my other half going, you spent a lot of money on such and such this month. I really needed them headphones. Thank you.
That's true. Actually, maybe it's guilt free if it's someone. Good point.
I think definitely. So that's another kind of support entirely, isn't it? That I think is brilliant to have. That if there's something you're not great at, or even like I have a VA just to absolutely unfuddle my brain, and there's so many things I want to be doing. So I'll put content together, and she actually manages to structure it and get it on the website and all those bits that I hate, like I say, WordPress and uploading stuff to it. So she does all that side for me. And
that sounds brilliant, and that might be something I might consider myself in the future, actually, because just to put something up on your social media, if you've got something to shout about, if you've got every channel under the sun like me, which I often think, do I need every single channel? But you want to be visible everywhere, and that can take half your morning just putting something out, and then you've used up your best time, you've burnt out your best hours, because we all have certain hours of the day where you're at your best, and probably for me like 9 to 11 in the morning as well, I'm my most creative, and I've just spent all that time just posting things up, and so
replying to emails, and
you're flagging by the afternoon. You should really save those jobs to the afternoon, they say in all the good business books, but easy said than done. You want to get it out there. If you've done something good, you want to show everyone,
Well, you do, and then you've got to think about when people are most active on social media and stuff as well, haven't you? And
it depends on your audiences. So I don't think I'll ever quite understand all of that, but I just keep posting stuff. See what happens.
I often throw something up at 11 o'clock at night and then think, well, that was pointless. Why can't you just wait?
I know. I found though, if it's something important enough or good enough, then generally people will find it. So but
you can always reshare.
Exactly. But it's important, for people to see what you're doing and what you like doing, and half the time then they already feel like they know you before they even approach you. So that's helpful.
So following on from that, what's in store for you then with the business, and do you have a plan, or are you a winging it like I do?
Well, I'd love to say I've got a little of a planner on my wall and I know exactly what I'm doing, but I don't really. I mean, but that's the good side, isn't it? You're get to try out new things. When you work in the corporate industry, you're pigeonholed as one thing, so you just solely do one job, where you might try out, in my business you might try out more editing work or more directing work or something, so there's a nice bit of variety.
The stop frame,
and I was just about so I was
tell us.
at the start of this year, I was hired by. Well, no, I wasn't hired, but at the start of this year, I got on to a Aardman Academy course, which was learning stop motion, and it's something that I chose to do because I did stop motion at university like 20 odd years ago, and I haven't done it since. And by stop motion, I mean like puppets and moving puppets and taking a frame at a time with a camera and moving it. And I hadn't done any of this for 20 years because I'd focused on 3D and 2D animation. And I just thought, as a bit of a treat, as I was leaving my old job, and I thought, right, let's do this course. It'd never been run before, and it was a 12-week course, and it just taught you all the fundamentals of how to make a stop motion animation. And you got hands-on like tutors, and you got to watch various videos every week and attend classes, and it was just right up my street, and it really rekindled my love. I'd forgotten how much I loved making stop motion films, and so they are running another course next year, so I am tempted to do stop motion 2, which will be more lip syncing and complicated.
Oh, right, okay.
And after 12 weeks I came out of it with a little film with this magician, the great Handini, and it's only a 30-second little film, and I thought, just for fun, I'll put it in a few film festivals that I used to do as a student, and it's done so well. It's won awards and it's been screened. It's traveled more than I have this year. It's been screened in all different countries, and it makes me just want to do more of those. Now, the dream would be for someone to come and say, I want a stop motion music video, and so I could actually now use those skills and actually use them in my business. And I'm hoping, if I get it all up on my website, that maybe that will lead to, because something about stop motion is quite timeless, and people love that homemade look in music videos and stuff. So yeah, I've really enjoyed doing that. So I'm hoping to do lots more of that, and just do more bigger and better projects, more skill share classes as well. I did one of those about a year ago, and that went down very well. So teaching After Effects.
All right.
And so loads of things ahead, hopefully, and obviously put my rates up as well, because we don't do that.
I must admit that's one for me. I think in restarting after the break for the book, I need to ramp them up now.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully, lots of exciting things on the horizon. Yeah.
Oh, I love that you did the stop motion. Like I say, I'm so jealous, and it's one of those things I'd love to do, but then how I would ever bring it into my business, it would literally just be something for fun.
But it could be a way of advertising stuff on social media. You can have your own character. There's always room for animation in your life.
Oh yes.
So yes, but no, it's been amazing, and also through that I've made a whole new bunch of stop motion friends that I didn't know before, and so there's a whole extra community out there that I'm now a part of, which is lovely as well. So hopefully we're going to have a graduation at Aardman Animation Studios in December. It keeps getting pushed back because of the pandemic, so that's not open to the public, so that's quite exciting to get to go to the studios and stuff. So
is that in London then?
It's in Bristol.
Aardman. Right, yes, of course it is.
It's kind of heart of animation, Bristol. There's lots of animation companies, but obviously Aardman is the top one. So but if I was 20 years younger, I would have come off that course and thought, I'll get a starter job there and work my way up, but too old for that now. I've got to, you know what I mean? No, I don't think I could go back to being at the bottom, and being a runner or something. As great as that was, and I did it myself 20 years ago, and I highly recommend it. If you're, coming out of university, get your foot in the door. That's what I did, and after that, just see where it takes you, basically. Yeah.
I love it. I love that you've done that course though, and yes, good trying that new angle in what you do, because I think that's something I try to do a lot, and I've just got to that point where for me to expand in the e-learning, it means I'm going to have to take on things like looking at AI and virtual reality, and which that's a whole huge thing that I'm like, I don't think I'm ready for that.
But I think that's really important. I think it's so important to keep on top of your industry, and also you might love what you do, but there's going to be a day where you think, I don't really feel like doing this today. It's really important in your own field just to try new things. That's why I'm fortunate. I did an MA in 3D animation about 5 years ago, and I came away with that with all this extra software knowledge that I didn't know before, and also improved my essay writing skills and things like that. So it is important, I think, for your brain to just keep trying these things out, because if you're just doing the day job, your bread and butter work all the time, then you just get pigeonholed as that person.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
You know, so it's good to show what else you can do and what else you enjoy doing. So if I get more work like that, brilliant. You know, I really enjoyed it, so I can start building sets and things again and filming them in a dark room with all the curtains drawn. You know, so hours of fun, literally
and
hours.
Annoy your partner with all this stuff that, like I do. I get called that I've got a craft corner and I've got a craft room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think I'm going to need like a bigger I'm in a converted garage here. I think I'm going to need like a bigger garage for the next one. You know, I want more than one set and lighting.
Wow.
And so that's a dream, but maybe that's a few years off. Yeah.
Oh, love it. So to wrap up, because I'm aware I've kept you for a while now, but what would be your one tip for anyone just starting out on this journey into self-employment?
Oh, that's a good one. What would be my one tip? My one tip is be nice. I know it's really obvious. In the film Roadhouse, the guy says be nice a lot as well. But don't make too many demands in your early days. You know, be nice, be approachable, do what's asked of you, show your face, you know, always meet your deadlines. But at the end of the day, be someone that you would want to work with, because you could be the best animator in the world or best anything in the world, but if you're a bit of an idiot, then you probably don't want to work with that person. So just do your best, be nice, and hopefully people will just come back because they want to work with you, because you know they like you, hopefully.
No, I think that's spot on advice. I'd definitely say that's done wonders for me to finally feel like I can be myself and you know, deal with my customers, and they like that I can be a bit daft, but I get the work done. And it does go a long way.
I think there's plenty of room for being daft as long as you get the work done, as you say. So it doesn't matter how fun. We only get one chance at this.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much for that, because that's been a great chat. I've really enjoyed that.
That's great.
And it's been good practice for me now. So thank you very much, Neil. And it was too early for a drink, I think, but I think we deserve one. And I shall sign off and say thank you very much, and thank you to anyone that's watching.
Thanks. Nice speaking to you. Thanks, Ellen.
You too. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the great Handini. Let's give him a big hand.